The history of architecture in New York City. New York City is more than a place. It's a timeline built in stone, steel, glass, and concrete. Every building tells a story of ambition, fear, power, wealth, and reinvention. Understand New York. You don't read a book, you look up. This is the history of architecture in New York City. Chapter 1. Before the skyline, 1600 to 1700. Before the skyscrapers, before the grid, New York was called New Amsterdam. Founded by the Dutch in the early 1600s, the city's architecture was modest and practical. Low brick buildings, steep roofs, small windows to survive harsh winters. There was no skyline ambition to touch the sky, just survival. When the British took over and renamed it New York, architecture slowly shifted toward Georgian and Colonial styles, orderly, symmetrical, European. Almost none of these buildings survive today. They were erased to make room for what was coming. Chapter 2. A city gets organized late 1700s to early 1800s. After the American Revolution, New York exploded with growth. Merchants, traders, immigrants. In 1811, city planners made a decision that would change everything. They imposed a strict grid system across Manhattan. Straight streets, right and left, no curves, no compromise. Architecture followed the ruleless federal-style townhouses, rose brick facades, clean lines, restrained elegance. The city wasn't beautiful yet, but it was becoming efficient. New York was learning how to expand. Chapter 3. The Brownstone Era, mid-1800s. Industrialization transformed the city. Factories multiplied. Immigration surged. Housing needed to be fast, but dignified. Enter the brownstone. Entire neighborhoods were built using this soft, brown sandstone. Italianate arches, Gothic details, tall stoops that lifted residents above the street. These homes weren't built to last forever. They were built to house a rising middle class. Yet today, they're some of the most iconic buildings in New York. A reminder that even temporary solutions can become permanent symbols. Chapter 4. The Race to the Sky, 1890 to 1930. Then came the breakthrough. Steel frame construction, elevators, electric lighting. For the first time in history, buildings could grow up instead of out. And New York took it personally. This was not architecture anymore, it was competition. Beaux Arts masterpieces like Grand Central Terminal displayed wealth and power. Then Art Deco arrived, sharp lines, metallic finishes, confidence carved into stone. The Chrysler Building, the Empire State Building, they weren't just buildings, they were statements. New York was no longer just a city, it was a symbol of modern civilization. Chapter 5. Rules, War, and Glass, 1940 to 1960s. After World War II, everything changed. Ornament was rejected. Decoration was seen as wasteful. Architecture became efficient. The international style took over glass, steel, straight lines. Buildings like the Seagram Building didn't try to impress with detail. They impressed with precision. At the same time, massive public housing projects reshaped neighborhoods, often with devastating social consequences. New York became colder, cleaner, more corporate. The city gained power, but lost warmth. Chapter 6. Breaking the Rules, 1970 to 1990s. Then came rebellion. Architects grew tired of glass boxes. They wanted personality back. Postmodern architecture reintroduced color, history, symbolism, sometimes humor. Old factories became lost. Abandoned spaces were reborn. New York was no longer tearing down its past, it was learning to reuse it. The city began to heal itself. Chapter 7. The Vertical Future, 2002 today. Today's New York is defined by extremes. Super tall luxury towers stretch impossibly thin into the sky. Neighborhoods blend residential, commercial, and cultural spaces. Projects like One World Trade Center stand not just as buildings, but as symbols of resilience. The High Line turned abandoned infrastructure into public art. Hudson Yards represents the future, ambitious, controversial, unstoppable. Sustainability now shapes design. Green roofs, energy-efficient glass, architecture that adapts instead of dominates. New York City was never designed as a whole. It was built layer by layer, crisis by crisis, dream by dream. Its architecture is messy, contradictory, unfinished. And that's exactly why it works. Because New York doesn't hide its history, it stacks it, one building at a time.